This week on Pop's Culture Podcast, Pops tackles topics like tariffs, weird health trends, and of course, more Gen Z vocabulary. So sit back and enjoy this week's episode of Pop's Culture Podcast.
All right, folks, we are back with another episode of Pop's Culture Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Pop.
That's right, number 6, man.
Number 6.
I'm pretty excited. I don't know if you know this or not, but there's a statistic out there that says that most podcasts never make it past the 4th episode.
Cool, I got you.
And so they say one of the telltale signs of a podcast is going to be successful is when you make it past your 5th episode. So we're there. All right.
Yay, us.
Yay. We're only going to be successful. You guys like it, share it, subscribe to it. So
that's right.
Got to do it.
You betcha.
So we've had some people commenting, and they had some questions for us. So we're just going to jump right in. And this is what I love. We get to answer questions that viewers are actually asking us. We don't have to come up with this stuff off the top of our heads. So,
hey, I got an answer.
I know you do. So, so the first one that people wanted to know about, obviously one of the biggest things in the news right now, and first of all, we're not a political podcast.
No.
We have our opinions just like everybody else has. But one of the things you and I talked about when we first started doing this, that we would do our best to kind of steer clear on, is getting too deep into politics.
Right.
But when viewers ask a question, I think it's only fair that Pops educates them.
There you go. I'll give an answer.
One of the things that's in the news right now is tariffs.
Tariffs.
Yeah. So I wanted to know, what's your opinion of tariffs? Are they a good thing? Are they a bad thing?
Well, you got good and bad along with that. You know, when I was coming up, they wasn't nothing like that.
Yeah.
We played football on a natural grass field. We didn't have them tariffs. But the good thing with the tariffs, I guess, you ain't got to mow them, you ain't got to water them like you do with grass. I guess it's a little harder than grass when you fall on it and slide on it, but I ain't never played on tariff. They got them in the pros.
Are
But I like natural grass.
Are you saying turf?
And turf fields.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So that's your opinion of tariffs then, is
exactly
good or bad? It's just probably a little hard, but you prefer natural grass over tariffs.
Absolutely. You may have to cut it a little more, but I'd rather see them playing on natural grass instead of them tariffs.
Hey, there you have it. If you don't believe he's got an answer for everything, that just proves it right there. All right. Well, that's probably been the easiest subject we've talked about the whole time we've been doing this.
I figured everybody knew about that.
Yeah. Well, not everybody's as smart as you, Pops.
That's right. I get around.
That's right.
I get around.
So you got to touch on something here.
No,
we had another comment since our last episode. It's about our last episode.
Oh, goody.
I know. So you were explaining how your wife may have accidentally overdosed on Plexiderm.
That wasn't no accident. She was lathering that stuff up like she was trying to.
Well, maybe she didn't know what it was going to do. Maybe she didn't realize the extent of what was going to happen.
Well, she just heard old Bueller talking about how much it drawed her up.
But there was obviously, other than looking like a bullfrog, that's the
cutest thing you ever saw.
The
You
cutest
ever see her try to hula dance?
Speaking of hula dancing,
Yeah.
You were telling me earlier that there were some additional side effects.
Oh, let me tell you. You know, I told you before, when you blow up a balloon, you pull it tight and it squeals when you let the air out. Other night, she fixed a big old pot of pinto beans. We had a pineapple upside down cake for dessert.
Yeah.
After eating them beans and them pineapples, I heard her in the bathroom, and she was playing some of the prettiest Hawaiian music you ever heard.
She was having a luau.
Yeah. That little bitty tight butt. Wee, wee, wee. Oh, it was so cute.
So
I think if she practices a little bit, she'll play Dixie on it for long.
Who knew that was going to be one of the side effects, huh?
Hey.
Well, you do it, Charlie.
She'd make money with that thing. You know, you heard people talk about that being the money maker. That could be one.
I don't think that's what they meant, but what are you doing? You getting some petting? Y'all, this is Charlie. She's our mascot. She's a good girl. We got a little Tinker over there, too. She's our other mascot.
That right there is one of my best buddies.
Oh, yeah. She's a sweetheart. She loves her big brother, too.
Oh, yeah. She's trying to get as big as you. She'll eat more than I do.
Yeah, she got a little ways to go to catch me, though.
She ain't far from it.
She's a sweetheart.
She is.
We was talking about it earlier. I got little Lucy at the house, and man, you talk about my baby when we first got her. Oh, you got him, Charlie.
Easy girl.
When we first got Lucy, I was hardcore against. Number one, bringing a dog in my house. I've always said I ain't ever gonna have a dog in my house.
Well, I said that too, and I still ain't gonna have a dog in the house.
But you got your daughter.
She don't know she's a dog.
Well, don't tell her.
Well, I ain't.
But I said I wasn't gonna have no dog in my house, and we got Lucy. And the first couple nights we had her outside. I had her on I thought plenty long enough. You know, I had a 100-foot runner with a 60-foot lead on it, and figured that'd be plenty of room for her to run around. The first night she was there, I had her on a leash on it. Well, she got off her leash. We got up the next morning, she was asleep at the back door. Well, I was like, still ain't bringing no dog in my house. So this time I went and got one of those harnesses.
Mm-hmm.
I put her on a harness on it. Next morning, sleep at my back door. I don't know how in the world she got off that harness, but she did.
Your wife sleeping out tearing open, letting her off of it.
That's probably what it was.
She said, I'll show him.
But after 2 nights and her waking up on my back door, I told the kids, I said, all right, give her a bath and bring her in. And she's been my baby ever since, man.
I bet you ain't never seen one with a tongue like Charlie.
Lord, no, man.
When she was younger, I put a little bit of peanut butter up there between her eyes, and she licked it off. She licked it off.
She's got a tongue that's 1.5 miles long.
It's pretty long.
It's long. I've said that 1,000,000 times. I don't think I've ever seen a dog with a tongue as long as Charlie's.
Mm.
I'm sorry, she's not a dog.
Exactly.
I've never seen a beautiful young lady with a tongue that long. She's pretty though.
She's got a tongue.
So, one of the segments that everybody loves that we do every week is talking about Gen Z vocabulary.
Gen Z.
Now, I know that you've done a ton of research into Gen Z vocabulary.
You betcha.
And so far, you have educated everybody extremely well into what these vocabulary words are. So today, I want to throw another couple of them at you and let you shoot from the hip here and see if you can tell me what they are.
All right, then.
So, the first one, I just learned this one today, or I just heard it for the first time today. But the word is chuggy.
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 Chuggy. Well, sure.
Okay.
About every other Friday night, that Plexiderm takes hold. Mama gets a little chuggy. She'll want to dance and play the music at the same time. She get to walk through the house and go, chuggy, 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 chuggy.
You know, I had a feeling that's what that was.
Yeah, well.
Chuggy.
You'd see her doing it with her tap shoes on.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, it's something to see.
Chuggy, chuggy, tap, tap.
Oh, yeah. No, she can chuggy and tap together.
Oh, that's impressive.
You betcha.
So I have a question. So chuggy, is that the dance?
No, it's just getting chuggy.
Getting chuggy with
You know, when I was younger, it's called You know, we used to, on Friday nights after we get off work, you know, our hair get a little kinky. We want to get out and party.
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
All right.
But Mama gets chuggy.
She gets chuggy. All right. I like it. I like it. The other word
All right.
is bussin'.
Bussin'.
Bussin'. Now, I can use it in a sentence for you if that'll help, or do you want me to?
No, I know what bussin'
all
is.
right. What is bussin'?
Well, that's when a man and a woman, you know, I don't care how much they love each other, they're gonna get ill at each other every once in a while. Then you got some of them out there that can't talk real plain. They go to biting and a bussin'.
Bussin' and a biting.
Bussin' and a biting. Let's see how it started. They mispronouncing it. They go to biting. They bite each other, you know.
Yeah.
And then bussin'.
Busting the nose.
Busting our head.
Okay. All right.
Now, my wife is really good at that.
She's really good at busting and biting?
That's why I wear a hat all the time. I take my hat off. My head look like a sack of doorknobs. I got so many knots on it. Right over here on the backside look like a little sack of marbles.
Well, I don't know if you know this or not. Well, of course you know, but remember I used to keep my head shaved.
Yeah.
I'm talking shaved. Like
Yeah, I know.
You know why I quit doing that? Well, I don't know if people can tell or not because I know the camera is very
I figured
slimmy.
it was because that head got so big you run out of shaving lather before you get done.
Well, you would think that, but that's actually not what it is.
Okay.
So, a lot of people, it's hard to tell on camera because I look so athletic. You know what I mean?
Yes, you do.
But I put on a few pounds over the years.
I would have never guessed.
I know it. I know. I hide it well. I carry it.
Yes, you carry it very well.
Carry it, specific
Arnold
places.
Schwarzenegger'd be proud.
Yeah, he would. He would. But I used to keep my head shaved. And as I started putting on weight, people started making fun of me.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes,
Back of your own head looked like a pack of hot dogs laying on it.
That's it. They told me the back of my neck looked like a pack of hot dogs.
Yeah.
I tried it the other day. I got a real tight fade, and it don't look like a pack of hot dogs no more.
Well, now, I don't know about that. I thought it did. From the looks of them teeth marks, so did your wife. That's what you get when you keep her out too late without feeding her.
I know it. I know it.
She's going to gnaw it on a hot dog.
I'm telling you. Now it looks like one big old sausage back there. It's just one big old fat roll.
No.
No?
No.
Divided up pretty good?
There's a few.
Okay, well, good.
Yeah.
Good.
I love you, Jennifer.
So, I was talking to Aunt Mel earlier today, and it's fun to reminisce about how we grew up. Because, golly bum, I don't know if it was just if we were weird the way we grew up or what, or if it's everybody has these kind of stories. I don't know, but one of the things that we were laughing about. So,
well, now you and Peanut was the only ones in the neighborhood we had to keep on a leash.
Well, you remember when they put that sign in right there by the house that said "Slow children at play"?
That was there for y'all.
Yeah, I always thought that was.
That was there for y'all.
One of the things we used to love to do when we were real little. I mean, we loved to do it all the way up, but you was always real big about wrestling with us.
Oh, yeah.
We used to love to. You'd climb down in the floor, and I know, bless your heart, you'd worked all day long and was give, slap out, but you always made time to wrestle with us.
Oh, yeah.
But
I enjoyed it as much as y'all did.
I'm sure. But there's one in particular instance that I remember, and I'm gonna let you tell the story, but I wanted to set it up. We were wrestling on the floor.
Yeah.
And
now you and Kevin, you and Peanut would wrestle, and he'd get mad because you could hold him down, and then you'd get to feeling kind of tough, get thinking you can handle Pop. Next thing you know, I had you wadded up in the floor. You couldn't move. And that made Peanut mad too. I was leaned up against the chair one night, and I was holding you down. Well, Peanut jumped up in that chair behind me, put them little feet against the back of my head, and grabbed my ears a set back like a set of plow lines. Turn him loose. You know what I did? I turned him loose. Man.
He about ripped your ears off, didn't he?
I looked like Dumbo for 3 days. I get out in a good wind and flop like hummingbird wings. Had his little fingerprints in my ears for a while.
Yeah, I remember, man. That was the thing about me and Kevin. We would fight like cats and dogs, man.
Yeah,
but you let somebody mess with one of us.
It's like old Charlie Daniels said, we fight amongst ourselves, but you outside folks better leave us alone.
Yeah, I mean,
because you gonna have to scrap the whole bunch then.
Boy, we had it on that school bus.
Oh yeah.
Boy, me and Kevin had a reputation.
Y'all had a reputation. I don't know. Y'all must have got that meanness from your mom.
I know better.
Because I wasn't ever like that.
Yeah.
No, I was misunderstood, even in school.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. Now this is before you come to know Jesus, all right?
Yeah.
We grew up in a real small town.
Yes.
You grew up in a smaller town than I did.
Yeah. We had a sign that says "Welcome to Nauvoo." On the other side of that piece of wood, said "Welcome to Nauvoo." It did on both sides. Of that
it really did. I remember that. Like literally, Nauvoo was the sign.
Yeah. Welcome to Nauvoo. Get behind it. Welcome to Nauvoo. Well, we missed something.
You're entering and leaving Nauvoo at the same time.
Absolutely.
But growing up in a small town, you can't help but get, people know who you are, and when you're of a certain persuasion, you wind up with a reputation. And I don't know if I ever even told you this story or not, but when me and Jennifer first started seeing one another, and I'm gonna be real careful about. I'm not gonna name any names here, but
I will.
No, there was an instance where there was a guy that wasn't real happy that me and Jennifer was seeing one another, and he calls up and he tells me over the phone, says, if y'all don't stop seeing one another, something bad's gonna happen. And I told him, I said, buddy, I guess you gotta do whatever you gotta do. I said, but I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt because you don't know who I am. I said, but you live up there in Nauvoo, Lynn area. I said, I want you to ask around about me. And I'll give you a couple of days to decide if you still want to go down this road or not. Literally the next morning, I get a phone call. He says, you Michael Bell's boy? I said, I am. He said, well, I was told I better not mess with you. And I said, now, you got the information. What do you want to do with it? He says, let Jennifer know I won't be calling her no more. So
now that was no reflection of me.
It was something. but we're both we're both redeemed men of God.
Yes, I mean I never started anything.
No,
I finished a few situations.
I will say that was one of the things you always taught us is. You better not start a fight, but you better end them. And, I tell people, I'm not going to say I joke around about this because it is true, but one of the things you always said to me and Kevin was no matter what you do, whether you're a doctor or a ditch digger, be the best one.
No, I said
be the best you can be.
Try to be the best at it. No matter what it is, you try to be the best.
And, and I took that to heart. I'm not going to say I'm the best at what I do.
Well, I wasn't either, but I tried to be.
But I will say that striving to be the best version of whatever it is I'm doing, I've had a lot of jobs. At one time in my life, I was very much a job hopper.
Yeah.
Never really went without work very long.
Right.
But I jumped around from job to job a lot. But it was weird because it's like no matter what job I did, I ended up being pretty good at it.
Right.
And I count that to the fact that you always told us. And maybe I misunderstood you, but I took that to mean be the best.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to say I always was the best, but I always tried to be.
Right. That's all I ever told you. try to be the very best at it. And like I said, I wasn't always the best, but I tried to be.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a time when I was having my knee replacement. They put that band on my leg to cut circulation off. They carried me in there to do that knee replacement. Well, I was wide awake while they done it.
Yeah.
But this old woman, old nurse, she's probably about 114 years old.
Yeah.
About 3 apples tall and built like a little pumpkin. She come over there and she's going to wrap that a band or something around my thigh.
Yeah.
And then she aired it up, to cut circulation off.
Yeah.
Well, she wrapped that thing around there and started pumping it. And I said, whoa, 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 whoa. She said, what's the matter with you? I said, you got more than a leg in that thing. Oh, she's about to hurt, baby. But now, after they got started, I was laying back there. I was awake. I could hear everything that's doing. I just couldn't see everything. And I like to watch stuff.
Yeah.
Weird stuff. Well, I could hear that little saw running, cutting bone, and the little hammer and chisel, whatever they was using. So I just raised up on my elbows and looked over. My knees were cut from here to here, and they had it pulled apart. I could see the bones and everything there working. Doctor said, you can't be raising up like that. I said, well, I can't see if I don't. He said, somebody knock his butt out. I wanted to watch, but it didn't look like my leg.
Well,
that thing almost looked like a gutted squirrel, where they had it yanked apart there. Man.
Well, you talk about that. One of the weirdest things me and my first wife when Nadia was being born.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Nadia and Noah both were C-section. Now with Noah, they had this big sheet up.
Yeah.
I'm sitting down beside her head while they're doing their thing up there, and the whole time I'm just talking to her and paying attention to her and kind of coaching her through everything. You're gonna be okay. Da 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 da. Well, they get Noah out and they cut the umbilical cord and they bring him around and they hand him to it. Well, they didn't hand him to us. They brought him down, let us see him, and then they took him and cleaned him up and everything. Well, when Nadia was being born, it was a whole different setup. Now, they still had the big blanket up and everything, but they were like, I'm sitting there talking to her. As soon as Nadia is born, they said, Dad, you want to cut the umbilical cord? All right. So I stand up to go cut the umbilical cord. Everything that was supposed to be inside was laying on the table outside. Everything. It was just spilled out all over the table, and I'm looking at it, and I'm just holding them scissors, and I'm not even looking at Nadia. I'm just staring down at that table at all of my wife's guts laying all over the floor. And they're like, Dad. And I'm like, yeah. They said my face turned white as a ghost. They're like, sit down.
I wouldn't want to see that.
I wasn't prepared to see that now.
See, now, Peanut was a C-section, but I wasn't even in there when they done that. When you was born.
Yeah.
That was an experience. I was raised on a farm.
Yeah.
I've seen hogs birth, horses, cattle. Well, they was going to send your mama home to start with.
Okay.
Because they thought it was false labor or whatever. Yeah. Well, they finally decided to wait a little bit. Well, about midnight, her water broke.
Oh, no.
Okay, they said it's still going to be a little while. And next thing I know, you need to go down there and sign her in. I was 19 years old.
I was going to say, y'all were babies.
Yeah. I didn't know I went and done what they told me to, and I come back. And I was going to go in there where your mom was when I was in the delivery room. Little old nurse standing there in front of the door said, you can't go in there. I just pushed her aside. And I went on in. I wished I'd have listened to that nurse.
I bet you would.
Son, I walked in there. They had you out. They didn't deliver you. The nurse caught you.
Oh, no.
You come out of there, and I thought, what is that?
Look like a little alien.
You look like E.T., a blue E.T. I said, it's an E.T. Smurf. Can you fix it? Then I looked over there from where you come. I said, oh, my goodness. Can you fix that? Oh, my goodness. And your mama said, shut up, I'm going to slap you. I said, don't move. Everything's going to fall out. Oh, my goodness. I was scared to death. And then the doctor come in after you was born. Well, he got there in time to deliver the placenta. Oof. Oh, that's a pretty thing.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh,
that's gross.
That's you know that's what they make baby oil out of.
That ain't where they make.
Yes, that's what they make baby oil out of. They save the placenta.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
And they put it in a food processor.
Do they?
Then they strain it. Then they filter it some way or another. And that juice off that right there is where baby oil comes from. Well, see, now I was told back in the old days, when a baby was born, they had to save the placenta. And on that baby's first birthday, the daddy's supposed to.
Nope.
And I said, make the baby oil.
Yeah, make the baby oil. Hey, listen, we.
But that's where baby oil comes from.
Let me tell you something. Now, I know there's a bunch of weird, crazy stuff out there.
Yeah.
I get it. And listen, I'm not a picture of health. I'm aware of that. Okay? And I know that there's all kinds of these health ideas and all these weird wives' tales and things you can do to be healthier and whatever. But I saw something, and I don't know if this is real or not. I'm sure it probably is.
I bet he ain't got the guts to do that again. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, like a booger. A flying booger.
Flying booger.
I'm sorry, y'all.
No, you're... But one of the things I saw, and I don't know if it's real or if it ain't, but I saw where people would take their placenta after the baby was born, and they would dry it out, basically like you said, put it in a food processor, chop it up, and they mix it into like chocolates, and they would eat this chocolate.
Nope, baby oil.
Got to make the baby oil.
Make the baby oil.
But that's a thing. Like that's a thing that people do.
They can have that thing.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's nasty. That is.
No, you make the baby oil and sell it to
Johnson & Johnson.
Oh,
P. Diddy.
P. Diddy. Yeah, I'll let you know he's a weirdo.
Yeah, man.
He probably don't even know where it comes from.
Nah, he thinks it comes from Walgreens or CVS or something. Walmart.
Everything comes from Walmart.
Everything comes from Walmart. You were the kind of guy, from what I understand, that you weren't really like into trends and trendy stuff. You just kind of
my own self.
Yeah, kind of your own self, but.
I like things simple, still do.
Yeah. We hit it on this last week. But I was going through some old pictures and going through some memories, you know. When me and Kevin were, I think I was probably 6, Kevin was 4. Y'all decided to let us play t-ball. And we played for the Fraser Oil Company. Mm-hmm. And our little uniforms were brown and orange. We had our little ball caps, our little jerseys, you know.
Y'all were cute little fellas.
Yeah, buddy. And I come across a picture of what might be the greatest first base coach in t-ball history.
Probably was. Best dressed. I know where you go with this.
In the picture, the team picture, in the team picture, we're all lined up with all the players and our coaches and everything standing in there with us. You're in that picture. Your baseball jersey has no sleeves. The collar is cut down to about right along here.
Yeah.
You wasn't wearing the Fraser Oil Company ball cap. You had a Winston cap on. And you had the coolest blue jean shorts anybody's ever seen. And you were so tan. Your skin color almost matched the brown of the shirt.
Well, I worked outside.
I know. It's just seeing you now, knowing you now, you always got your overalls on, you always got your hat on. But seeing you then versus seeing you now, it's like a whole different human being.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, but it's funny because, that was what, the late 80s, I think?
Yeah.
Late 80s. So, I mean, that was, you didn't really stand out necessarily. Well, I don't know, you kind of did.
Yeah.
But, looking back on that, I just remember you were, you dressed your way and you kind of had your style. But I come across another picture of Papa Hollis, your dad. And if I didn't know any better, I'd have bet you $1 million bill that he was doing his best to look just like Hank Williams Jr.
No, Waylon Jennings.
Okay.
That was his man.
Waylon
He wanted
Jennings.
to be like Waylon.
Now, let's just be real honest. Papa Hollis didn't exactly have a Waylon Jennings hairline.
No. My dad, he had a long forehead.
Oh, really?
Or a very wide part.
Yeah. about that wide.
All the way to the back of his neck. Let me tell you what he done. My dad, bless his heart, he went to get teeth implants.
Yeah.
This was a new thing, but he just got 4 in the front on top. $10,000.
Oh, my
back
Lord.
then. That was a lot of money.
A lot of money. You could buy a small house for that, just about.
Well, then he went and got him some hair. The way they done that hair, they put a piece of wire under his scalp, all the way around top of his head, and the hair was attached to that. Well, he was so proud of that new hair and that new 4 teeth that he thought he was some kind of Mr. Super GQ.
Yeah.
Went and spent I don't know how much money on a Stetson hat like Waylon wore.
Yeah.
Black vest, cowboy boots, and I don't reckon Dad's ever been on a horse or even at Walmart. And didn't know one end of a guitar from another.
No.
But he gonna be like Waylon.
Yeah.
Well, a few months of that, he went and bought a brand new Corvette.
Oh, yeah. Silver Stingray.
Yeah.
1983 Stingray.
Nope.
No.
82.
82.
They didn't make none in 83.
Okay. 82.
82 Corvette. But he was Mr. Macho.
Oh, yeah.
A few months after he got that hair, that scalp got infected.
Oh, my gosh.
It might have been a year or so after that. After he got it, it got infected. Well, the company that done it had gone out of business.
Oh, my Lord.
He went downtown Hadle to the barber, and they took it out. And they made a wig for him to wear. He was still proud of that wig. Put it on that styrofoam head. He'd get my no, he wouldn't. He'd get my stepmother to style it for him, and then very gently place it on his head. You know, Dad liked to drink and party when he thought he was still a young ladies' man. He's 82, still thinks he's a ladies' man over at the nursing home. But
keeps them nurses on their toes, don't he?
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah.
But he liked to drink a lot.
Yeah.
He get drinking, but he thought he could dance too. Turn real fast. The wig sit still with the head turn. You know, fix your hair. There was a club down there in Jasper, private club before Jasper went wet.
Yeah.
It was called the Twilight Club. Well, Dad was a member.
Oh no.
And me and your mama went down there with him one night. Y'all stayed with your Granny Margaret. Well, sure enough, he got to drinking. And about that, that's when the break dancing thing was coming out.
Oh no.
Dad wearing that Waylon Jennings get up.
Toupee.
And that rag on his head. He was going to break dance in front of everybody. He dropped down on the floor like he just ran around a circle spinning on his ear. Kicking people and everything else. And like never got him up out of the floor. Yeah, that was the silliest thing you ever saw in your life. A pawpaw trying to break dance.
That's funny.
No, I
bet you were real proud, wasn't you?
I was so proud to be his son. I looked at your mama and said, let's go.
Yeah.
But we was riding with them.
Oh, no. Oh, goodness.
I don't think I ever went back there with him again.
With all that being said, I just want to, we're going to wrap things up by saying that we are, man, I was just so thankful for the platform we've been given,
right.
The opportunity for you guys to see just a glimpse into our world, no matter how crazy that is.
We're not actors. This is us.
This is us, man. This is
us.
But just like we do with every episode, I think we've probably kind of had church here today, and I'm okay with that.
Absolutely.
But I do still want to keep with the theme of what we do every time we film, and I want to take just a couple minutes, whatever you want, to address everybody directly and just tell them what's on your heart, and after that we'll close it up and go to the house.
Well, alrighty. I always say, put Jesus first. And remember what this weekend is all about. It's Easter. It has nothing to do with Easter bunnies, Easter baskets, or eggs, or any of the fun stuff that kids like to do. It's the resurrection of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And, to me, Easter is more important than Christmas.
Yeah.
What it means to me. And I hope it means the same to everybody. It's okay to have fun with the Easter baskets, the Easter bunny, color eggs. I love chocolate bunnies. But I love what Jesus did for me on the day that we celebrate and why we celebrate it. So go to church Sunday. I'd like to know everybody going to church every Sunday. But love your family and love Jesus. If you got your parents, love them. Mamas and daddies, if you got your kids around close to you, cherish it. One of these days you're going to open your eyes and they'll be grown and gone. I love my kids. I love my grandkids. I love you. And I love the Lord.
Amen.
So, with that being said, we'll check out of here tonight.
Perfect. Guys, like always, we thank y'all for joining us tonight. We've had golly, man, it's been such a good night.
Yes.
Definitely took a different turn than what we expected it, but that's okay.
Well, let the Lord take charge and everything will be all right.
Just hold on and go for the ride.
Absolutely.
But again, we want to remind everybody, if you like what you saw here tonight or any of the other episodes that you've seen, Y'all don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We're growing that subscriber base every week. We're getting new subscribers. We're even starting to see some people that are what we call organic because they're not friends with anybody that we know. They're outside of our normal reach. So it means it's reaching people. So that's kind of cool.
I can't tell.
Yeah, well, I have the luxury of analytics, so I can go in and see all that stuff.
I don't even know what that means.
That's all right. You don't have to. Just keep being on here looking pretty and telling funny jokes. So,
but they're not jokes. They're real.
I know. I have to say they're jokes to make me feel better about it.
Yeah. Analytics.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like them fake parts in my knees?
Something like that. Something like that.
I got titanium. I got metal from my shoulders to my feet.
You really do.
I ought to be able to run a 60 mile an hour, but I'm afraid to get over 30, afraid I'll blow the soles off my boots.
Well, you can't ruin a good pair of boots.
No.
You don't want to do that. But but yeah, guys, just y'all please like, share, subscribe to the podcast. If you don't know how to do that, look right around here, and there'll be like a little subscribe button. I know it's so look right around here. There'll be a little subscribe button. Just click that subscribe button. Give it a thumbs up because the thumbs up helps the algorithm to know that you guys are enjoying what you're seeing, and then hit the little notification bell.
Don't pay no attention to the sawdust.
The little notification bell will remind you anytime we post a new episode. And y'all be looking out for some cool stuff that we got coming to the website. We're going to have some Pops Culture merchandise here before too long. So,
really?
Yeah. We would love to. Oh, hey, before we get out of here, we got to say a huge thank you to somebody. Miss Heather.
Miss Heather Holcomb.
Miss Heather Holcomb, she has a little small business. Her and her significant other. We're not going to say your name, BJ. But
we love them.
We love these guys, man.
They're AC, their son.
Yeah, phenomenal folks. They're viewers of the podcast.
Miss
go
Heather
to church
does
with
some
us.
of the most beautiful work. She made the sign up here, the Mountain Dew sign, but she made a Pops Culture sign. I'll show it next time.
I've actually got a picture. I'll put it in the video here. I'll put it in the video. But they made this for Pops. It's got a little logo on there. But what's cool is she actually has made these little refrigerator magnets.
Yes.
With the Pops Culture logo on there. I don't know how she does it, but it looks cool. And
it's done with a laser some way or another. Yeah. And she can make some of the most beautiful jewelry you've ever seen. And it's Smiley's creation.
I'll tell you what we'll do.
You can contact her on that.
We'll put a link to it in the description of the video, so you guys can visit her page. She's got a little small business. She sets up at festivals and stuff, but she makes trinket boxes. She makes all kinds of cool little stuff, jewelry, all kinds of stuff. So y'all check out her. Like I said, I'll put a link to the website in the description of the video. And you guys go on there. We can't see it right now, but you'll see it. It's like going to be right here. You'll see a picture of the stuff she's making.
You messing with my head.
I know it, man. It's the virtual reality.
Don't do that.
Look, do this. Do this. We'll be holding it. Look, like hold it up right here. Like pretend like the little thing that she made right here. We'll put it like that. Hold on. Yeah. See, and we'll have it right here. Anyway, no, but seriously, thank you so much, Miss Heather. That was absolutely beautiful and super thoughtful, man. We didn't ask them to do it; they just did it out of the kindness of their heart, and it turned out phenomenal.
Beautiful, sweet, godly lady.
Oh yeah,
and has the voice of an angel.
Yeah, she's beautiful voice.
And,
but yeah, y'all.
Her husband just got his licensed
yes, he did.
to preach, and
he's
going to be ordained
soon.
very soon. I'm very proud of BJ.
Oh yeah, man.
Love BJ. And a couple of weeks ago, their son AC received accepted the Lord.
Yeah, and got baptized.
All the same day. That's awesome. I love them.
I know it, man. Great family. Well, AC, man, he's been bringing a bunch of folks to church with him.
Yes, sir.
He's discipling folks. But anyway, no, we just wanted to say a huge thank you to Miss Heather and her significant other, whom shall not be named.
Yeah. We ain't gonna say BJ.
We're not gonna say your name, BJ. We promise. Anyway, but no, we really appreciate that. It was fantastic, and
She does beautiful work.
Y'all make sure you go online, check out her stuff. Try, support her if you can.
Yes.
And but hey, with that being said, thank y'all so much. It's been another great episode. We've had a fantastic time here tonight. Again, y'all like, share, subscribe, tell somebody about the podcast. We want to get the word out there. We want to get as many people watching as we can. So, heck,
we may not have been as funny tonight, but we got to talk about one of my favorite subjects, and that's the Lord.
That's it.
And I got to talk with one of my favorite people, my son.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love him with all my heart.
Same.
He's a good man. Same. I'm very proud of him. He's a whole lot smarter than me.
No.
Yeah.
Not nonsense. I was cut from a good cloth.
Yeah, I just know words that most people don't.
That's right. If you don't, you make them up.
Absolutely. You betcha.
All right. Well, folks, again, thank y'all so much for watching. We love you guys. And until next time, I'm Chris.
I'm Pop.
See you next time.
This has been another episode of Pop's Culture Podcast. As always, we hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Y'all come back real soon.